guys, I'm back. So we're going to get on with the questions. How did Willie? Right, if you're new to this video and you've just seen this part, this is part 2. Please, please, please come out of this video and go beneath it, and it should be part 1. Part 1 will be there, because in order to understand this bit, you're going to have watched that bit. I'm not good at sticking things together and knitting videos together. I need to learn, and that's probably something I'm going to have to do. But this video went well over the 25 minutes. So where we're at, we're going to ask some questions using cards and channeling, okay? What was it like being married to a Kennedy? She kind of briefly covered that. So what was it like being married to a Kennedy? Heartbreaking, disloyalty, toxic, scary. I know she said before, as I was getting ready, that Joe knew a lot of dark people. He used to threaten members of the family as well. He used to threaten the sons, the daughters-in-law. He used to have... She's actually showing like the Jimmy Savile type figure, where he had things on people so he could blackmail them. It's almost like, you know, she's saying, he'd almost find something out about you and say, if you don't do this, or if you don't do my bidding, I'll tell Jack. And it was the same with Jack, it was the same with all of them. He manipulated them all. And she's saying, actually, away from Joe's influence, they all could have got on really well. And they all could have actually been quite happy, because it was almost like they're all in a room. She's showing me they're playing games, or they're out on the cliff and they're playing games. And they're laughing, and there's fun, and they're bonding. And then Joe comes out, and it's like... And she said the sons were just like instantly tense, and it's like this tense, this energy would come in, and it was like Joe was the poison, and they were fearful, a fearful, fearful man. And none of the marriages were marriages that were based on love. The boys, the men, Bobby, Jack, Teddy, none of them could have healthy, loving relationships. Their mother Rose wasn't healthy. There was no love, there was no... Everything was a business transaction. Everything was a transaction. Nothing was based on love. It was based on something else, something darker. You weren't seen as a soul and as a person with Joe. You were seen as a commodity, a chess piece that he would... Literally, she said it's like the Kennedy family was like a chessboard, and they were all chess pieces. And she said even to the end, even when he was, you know... I was going to use an old-fashioned word for it then, but I thought that'll trigger people. But basically, she used the word crippled, and I'm not going to cancel her because we're talking about somebody that was from a different generation. So please don't judge me for that word. But even when he was badly disabled at the end, he still managed to manipulate. I don't know if you've watched it, but the film, I think it's called The Senator. I'll link this below. I'll link these films below. I've just watched that recently, and... Obviously that's about Teddy and the accident with the woman in the car, and he rings up his dad, because that was another thing, they were terrified of him, but they'd still run to him because they couldn't deal with life on their own. And you know, for although Jack was president, he couldn't deal with life on his own. Everything was what Joe wanted. What did Joe think? Joe all the time. And he says to his son rings him up and he says, Dad, I've had an accident. This woman died, and he's at this point he's had a really bad stroke and he can hardly speak, and the carer goes in to hold the phone at his ear, and he just goes, Ali, bye. And it's just like, and it's so dark, and actually Teddy's saying, no, I want to tell the police what's happened. I need to, this is a woman that's dead in the back of a car, I need to speak, I need to tell somebody, Ali, bye. And that's how he says it, and it's like, oh my God, you know, this is what you were dealing with. So, what was it like being married to a Kennedy? It wasn't as glamorous as we think. He did have many good points though. He did have many good points, did Jack. He was able to actually channel a lot of Joe's heaviness out of him, unlike other Kennedy males that have gone down really dark routes. And she showed me a few then, and this is Bobby's line, have gone really dark. And she spoke briefly in the first video about JFKjnr and some of the concerns she had there. So yeah, right, let's pull. Yeah, it was a work in progress. It wasn't about a family, it wasn't about get together, everything was done for something, okay? Everything had meaning, not the meaning of the heart, but meaning of the agenda. Everything was, it was all bribery, and I'll give you my daughter if you do this. And so, you know, it was just crazy, crazy energy. It was having a tightrope. It was about having boundaries. You know, there was no, he interfered with lives. He interfered with everything. She's saying something about their periods. There was something about the periods. God. Was there something to do? And I see, Jackie struggled to give birth, and she had miscarriages. He wanted to know her cycle. He wanted to know about his daughters. I think there's something with the daughter he had. I mean, Dad was telling me about this ages ago, about one of his daughters that he put in an asylum, or I'm going to have to research that, I'm not going to talk about it. But he wanted to know their reproduction cycles. He was really, 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 really sexist and really rude and cruel and unkind and cold and withdrawn. Okay, so life in the White House, Jackie, life in the White House. Yeah, that's the powers that were. It was all about that. They rule America with an iron fist. Anxiety and fear. You don't realise it until you get in. You really don't realise it until you get in. And she says, some presidents can actually do it and can go with it, and some struggle. Jack struggled. Jack just wanted out. He'd had enough. He didn't really want. It feels like he didn't want to be president. What was it like in the White House? He didn't want to be president. He found it stressful. It affected his health. The Hierophant, the powers that were ruled it. He had no power. It was public face, but a different story. People were trying to offer him things in order to do things, and he refused to take it. And she said it's important, this with Jack. She said, and that's one of the reasons why he didn't see old bones. He actually held a lot off America. He had a burden to carry. Okay, I hope this gets on. I hope this doesn't get taken down. We'll put some protection around it. And he didn't take it, and that's really important that people watching know that Jack never took backhanders. Jack never took backhanders. She said people liked Jack. People liked Jack. She said there's a lot of people that think that Jack got in through ill, but actually people liked him. There was, I don't know much about this, I don't know much about American history, ignorant I know, I'm sorry. And there was a lot that could have potentially happened then. And it was actually, she's saying, there's a lot of rumours that Jack was the mob that got him in. It actually wasn't. She said he actually was voted, and Spirit helped to get him in there. There may have been stuff in the background, but actually Spirit wanted him there because Jack held space for something not to happen. And when he started to question things, and you know, it's important. That's important. That's important. Okay, does that make sense? I can't go any further. So, which leads to the death of JFK. You know, death of JFK. She lost sense of feeling that day. She said she was very robotic before, but after it she became quite robotic. She would dissociate a lot as well. She said there was public Jackie that was stylish with the big glasses, you know, the bouffant hair, and but private Jackie, she's literally just showing me her just sat in a New York apartment afterwards, and she's just staring. She's dribbling as well. She was put on she was on a lot of medication for her nerves and anxiety, and she's just dribbling. She says she was drunk. She says the groups, the circles, the society it was so cold. It was so cold, and it's almost like she's rocking. And it's fear. She was fearful, and I think she explained in part one why she struggled with John Jr. Death of JFK. Hierophant. This is the powers that were. Yeah. Yeah, Knight of Cups. I pulled some cards in private about Diana the other night. I'm not going to go into what I pulled and what I got. I really can't. And there was a lot of knights in it, and I was like to my guys, what's with these knights? And the guide says they actually use inexperienced people to do stuff for them, if that makes sense. 3 of Pentacles on the bottom. They use inexperienced people to do stuff for them. So yeah, and you'd think that somebody that was going to do a job like that was quite advanced, but they're not. Stabbed in the back. It came from within his own. Yeah, the King of Swords. I want to say a word and I can't, and I want to say a name, but I think, oh God, I can't. It always benefits the vice ruler, the second in command, when the main man goes. Okay, it always benefits. And if they can't work with the man that's in already, they'll start with this one to get rid of that one. Okay. Bobby, I know there's rumours that she had a relationship, an affair with him. What was your relationship like with Bobby? I'm hearing it wasn't sexual. It wasn't sexual. He was quite supportive. He was supportive. I think she's saying that she struggled with physical contact and she struggled with sex. She struggled with. She says she came from it. It comes from her mother. She said there's a lot of rumours out there with various affairs and she said she struggled with sex. She says I was quite she was quite an Iron Maiden, quite cold. She was quite frigid with sex, and which was a problem with the marriage of Jack. She said one of the rumours about, that was a rumour that was put out to discredit Bobby. He was quite supportive. She said any woman that's just lost a husband, that's got a brother, it's a gentlemanly thing for him to come in and look after them. And he did, and it was a support thing. She says she was all over the place. Yeah, followed by the card of deceit. You see what I mean, how this works? You cannot make it up. Yeah, it was family. They didn't have an affair. They didn't have an affair. He was stabbed in the back too. And the knight appears as well. Okay. It was family. He wanted to look after her and protect her. They were very close. She says actually energetically they're soulmates. She was always more comfortable around Bobby than Jack. And it's important that gets put out there as well. She said a lot of authors, oh that's awful. Do you know it's awful in that? You know, when you see some content, a book that's written about somebody, you like to think it may not be perfectly right, and they may not have got everything right, but you like to think the ethics are there. And she's saying like there's a lot of content out there, a lot of books that were written that were just fake, discrediting. It was all like this, a mission to discredit the Kennedys. Discredit Jackie, you discredit John. Discredit John, you discredit this person. And it was just like so much discredit. Marriage to Aristotle. Oh yes, her past life. I asked her to show me a past life, and she said her past life, she had a past life as Cleopatra. I then did some homework, some brief homework, and I'll do more stuff on this. I did some homework and I found out that actually Cleopatra was Greek. And I was like, wow, because Aristotle Onassis was Greek. So when Aristotle came into her life and she was able to spend time with a Greek, it wasn't just about his money and his power. It was about, and she didn't realise this at the time, but it was about healing that Greek energy within her, that Greek past life thread. And it actually felt quite comfortable because in the lifetime of Cleopatra, I had more power. I had more power. And it felt as though actually that time with Aristotle, for although he had his issues and he had his affairs, it's almost like, she said he gave her the space she needed, the money they needed, the protection they needed, and the holidays they needed, and he let her get on with her life. They weren't conventional marriages. Ace of Pentacles, okay? Just everything you need, get on with your life. And he held the space for her that she needed. He also had a past life around Cleopatra, did Aristotle. And she got much healing from being in Greece, from being on the boat, on the water, and she didn't realise what was happening at the time. She said, but that's actually when she felt fully alive, when she was out on the boat, when she was out on the Mediterranean, when she was near sea, Martha's Vineyard. She needed to be near sea. So this is marriage. Yeah. This is a card of the lovers. They made agreements that, this is the marriage. Yeah, Tower card, Knight of Swords at the bottom. He gave her space. They were close. It was a marriage of convenience that worked for them, but it was a marriage of convenience that she was in charge of this time. But it was a burden for them both to carry. He struggled filling Jack's shoes. Very complex marriage, her and Jack, you know. It's almost like we didn't love each other, but we did. We didn't have sex, but we did. It was very complex. I wondered if they had some kind of split personality issues going on as well. The Tower. He protected her from the Tower. I'm feeling it ended quite quick, the marriage. It was a soul contract. He agreed pre-incarnation that he'd hold this space for her. And when she was on her feet, when she got back on her feet, and she actually got quite happy for a while. She got on top of the grief. Then Bobby died. And the Tower, when it came back again, she got on her feet in the marriage and made space. Then the Tower, the Bobby, the death, and it all started again. The issues started again. End of life. End of life. End of life. She was really ill towards the end, and she showed me this yesterday where she said don't share that. It was she was quite ill. She was quite ill at the end. And now she's saying no, do share it because there's people, because she had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and she's saying there's people that maybe need to hear it. It's almost like she's doing so much healing. She never liked sharing whilst she was here. But you see, the Empress, she never liked sharing whilst she was here, but now she's understanding that people still look to her story. And it's important they see the truth. That she wasn't the perfect First Lady with the neat little suits on and the pillbox hat and the little bag. And there was a whole host of trauma going on that can teach us so much. She used to have toilet accidents because of towards the end, and it was that, and being aware of it. Some of the medical care that she had wasn't that good, I'm feeling. She was neglected a bit at the end. That's really sad, actually. She was neglected because she's saying, you know, this woman that, yeah, that was attractive, and you know, Jackie O, that inspired women the world over, towards the end was neglected and laying there in her own stuff. And she's kind of like saying it's important actually that people know this, that know the truth of it all. It wasn't as glamorous. The Emperor, it was a hard life. And you may think, wait a minute, Claire, you know, she had billions, millions, she had houses, she had, you know, take that away and you're left with somebody that had nothing. If you took away Jackie's wealth, all the homes, the jewellery, the suits, everything, the big glasses, took it away, you'd have Jackie that had nothing. She didn't have a healthy relationship with her children. She didn't have a loving partner. She had Maurice Templesman. But even that feels like it wasn't as, I mean, he was married as well. And it all feels like it was all messy. You know, it's like everything's messy. Everything's toxic. Everything's, you know, it's like we're walking around here. It was a simple bungalow with a simple garden, with a simple life, with a husband that does a simple job. It's all simple. It's just, the neighbours are the same. You're the same that's watching. And it was all about clearing and clearing what they needed to clear and bring something. Just although the Kennedys were heavy, they actually brought a lot to the people. They brought a lot. And they actually have brought a lot of healing as well. And they stopped a lot. Jack and Bobby stopped a lot. They had shadow issues, don't get me wrong, but they stopped a lot. They dabbled in darkness and dabbled in stuff, because she said it's like you need to have both to get in there. And it's what dog do you feed? And a lot of them get in and start feeding bad dog. That's it. They get in. The men that get in, they've got light dog, dark dog on the shoulder, as we all have. But in order to get in, you've got to start feeding the dark dog a bit. And you get in, and then what you'd like to think is they'd start feeding light dog and do stuff for humanity, but they start feeding the dark dog, yeah? Jack was trying to feed the light dog. He actually cared about people. He really cared about people. He hated the racism, he hated the stuff in America that was going on. He hated the politics, the secrets and lies. He wanted to do something good. Parting message. Just thanking Jackie for stepping forward. Please be gentle in the comments. There is no need to spread darkness. There is no need to run, because you do get that now and again with people. But they did this and they did that, but you've not said. And it's like, stop it off. Respect. Have respect when there's channeling going on. Okay. Parting message is Ace of Swords. Oh. Do you know, I had the deck like that in my hand, and I saw Ace of Swords, and she said, tell them America will be okay. And I was like, I'm sick of saying that, because I know that America's struggling at the minute. For all I'm not there, and it'd be disrespectful, I can feel it. I can't feel it, but I can. And then I looked, she said, no, look at the bottom of the deck, Claire. Look at the bottom of the deck. At the bottom of the deck, we've got happy home. We've got happy ending. See, Jack, I'm feeling Jack has literally come in, and I'm goosebumpy, and it's hairs on the back of my arms. Jack is working. Jack is working. Jack and Bobby, their energies are still working. And there's other people that don't have a face that are working for the light, on the ground, on earth, within the circles. They're all over. The light is all over. If only you could look down and see the light. And she failed to see this in her own life. She failed to see the light. She saw the dark. She saw the dark, the pain, the despair around her, and focused on that, and she got more of it. If only she'd have realised that in the White House there were people that could have helped her. There were people that they could have spoken to. But they can. I love this. I love this. Absolutely love this. So yeah, the Fool, the new beginning. So America, if you're watching, and you will heal from the heartbreak. Okay, so if you're watching, Americans, truth will win, the light will win, happy ever after, and a new cycle will begin. We're just going to have to, I say we, I'm channeling Jackie, so I'm not American, that's why I said we're just going to have to ride the waves, and we're just going to have to go through it. Any Americans there, embody the light, embody the light, embody the light, embody the light, realise how politics works and how it, I think vast majority do. It's not about you're the good or you're the baddie. It's much more complex than that. But knowing that Jack tried, Bobby tried, and that a lot of the scandal that was made up around them was made up. As I said with the Meghan stuff, and the Harry stuff, let's stick to the facts. Because it's quite easy to just throw something out there and people go, oh, scandal, because people love soap operas, people love the gallows, and it's like, whoa, and it blows it up, and it's like we can run with that. Remembering that these are souls as well. These are like us, me and you, but despite the wealth, they're coming here to clear generational stuff, past life stuff, the world as it is today. They're coming into craziness. Okay, so thanking Jackie for stepping forward, sending light, sending her back over to the other side, sending light to America, protecting this video, sending it to the right people, calling in Archangel Michael to protect the energy, to protect the video, to get this video out there, and for it to be a tool for healing and a portal for healing, so it's sent to those that need it. Okay, thank you for watching. If you've not watched part 1, please do go watch part 2. Please do go watch part 1, okay, and I will learn how to stitch things together with videos. Thank you for watching. Please do like, comment and subscribe for more content. Bye.